Guys, I played 4 hours of Watch Dogs Legion this past week.
Ooh.
It's one of the longest sit down and play sessions of a game I've ever done in a preview state. And it's pretty good. It was pretty fun. It is an Ubisoft open world game set in near future London, which is cool. London, great city. And so I spent a lot of time running around, driving around London, doing Watch Dogs stuff. It's still very hacker-focused. Hack anybody, make their phone ring, make their phone explode, raise and lower the barriers on the road, hack the drone, hack the gun, do all that stuff. All those Watch Dogs things are still here. The main thing with this game is that literally every NPC in the game is potentially on your crew. Literally anyone. If you see them on the street, you can hack them right now and you can see their schedule for the next day or whatever, where they're going to be. So you can kind of stalk them and find out what they're up to and see how you might be able to recruit them into your crew. So I did some of that, and I recruited this kind of street artist, I guess you'd say, graffiti artist, and her deal was that she had this like non-lethal paintball gun and a paint grenade that you could throw at people, which is pretty cool. And I wanted to recruit people to see what is this experience like, because ostensibly there is no main character in this game. There's no named protagonist that you will play as through this game. So potentially that leaves you kind of stuck and, playing as these faceless people who kind of, have no connection to the story. But in my experience, I played through quite a few missions. They gave full access to the open world, which was cool. They're all voiced. They're all acted really well. They all seem to have their own motivations. The big question going forward will be, how much variety is there? Are there, 10 archetypes of characters, or are there hundreds? I don't know. It's Ubisoft. It could be anything. But yeah, that part of the game seems to work.
I wanted to ask, with these characters and jumping between them and everything, does it seem like it's going to be fairly easy to care about these characters and their motivations? I mean, jumping between, faceless character A, B, C, it may be cool that they all have different sort of abilities, but do you care about their motivations?
Hard to say from the preview. It kind of jumped you forward to halfway through the game, so some stuff has happened already. And they're just kind of throwing you into the middle of some mission streams to, play through some relatively advanced stuff. So I'm not sure if the motivation is going to be there, or if that's gonna pull through. But I think a lot of people will be able to connect based on who you can recruit. Like, if there's somebody walking down the street and you're like, that person looks like me, that looks like somebody that I would want to be, just recruit them, and then you play as them. And maybe they're a cool hacker, or maybe they're like a construction worker and you can sneak into construction sites because you have a uniform. Or, maybe they're a cop and you can now sneak into police headquarters or whatever. So there's a lot of gameplay opportunity there, but, the first two Watch Dogs games, even though they had interesting story structure, I never felt that connected to Aiden or whatever the dude in the second game's name was.
Second protagonist.
Yeah.
Second protagonist. The San Francisco guy.
The second Watch Dog.
Yeah.
The Frisco Kid.
Yeah.
Watchdog B.
Yeah.
But yeah, in terms of feel of the game, I think they've come a long way since the last game. We were playing over Like, it wasn't a local copy of the game. It was playing over a streaming thing. So it's a little hard to say how tight and precise the controls were.
Right.
Over the streaming thing, but it did feel relatively good. Like, some of the melee combat felt pretty good. The shooting felt way better than it has in the past, even with some lag. So I think it's going to be a solid game. I don't know that it's going to be revolutionary in any way. It's a little hard to see what the big advances are outside of this play as anyone mechanic, which, you know, it is literally anyone in London can be your character.
I think it'll be interesting to see, like, it's one of those games where we'll have to play it for a while before we figure out its limits. Like, no matter how many lines they give every character, I feel like we're going to run into this point where it's like, oh yeah, no, I've heard them say this 30 times. I'm going sort of insane.
Yeah. Well, it seems to lean a little bit on the AI that you work with as a character that is the through line through the story, and there's some other peripheral characters that are
Okay.
that seem to be static as well.
So, like, the persistent characters aren't the ones you control necessarily. They're, like, the ones that you interact with.
Yeah. So in a way, it kind of felt like a game where you are a silent protagonist of some kind, where the story's carried by other characters.
Interesting.
But whichever character you were playing as did contribute meaningfully to each of the missions. They had their, they would bring their personality to the mission. And
it's a clever fix.
Yeah. I tried really hard to find repeat characters, or characters that I thought would have the same archetype, to recruit them. But I didn't run across anyone in 4 hours of playing the game. Like, I recruited a guy who was some kind of bare knuckle brawler. I found him in a bar. And I went to a whole bunch of bars trying to find another bare knuckle brawler, and I couldn't find one. So I don't know if that guy is like unique, or if some other character that was not that would have the same personality. Maybe. I don't know.
So I guess if you accidentally killed the bare knuckle brawler, then wow, you were up the creek, huh?
You could be. But yeah, you can recruit old grannies too if you want. So, there's always options.
Yeah, you're saying this game might not be revolutionary, but it's certainly sounding like it's going to be the best Watch Dogs game.
Oh, I think that's an easy thing to say, for sure.
Yeah.
London itself was really good looking. Even as someone who's not spent that much time in London but knows the city a little bit, you can navigate it pretty accurately. You can get from Buckingham Palace to Paddington Station to yada.
Yeah.
And all those sorts of things. So I think it'll do really well in the UK for sure, because people want to play around in that playground.
Yeah, sure.
Interesting.
Yeah.
But yeah, I honestly don't know when this game's coming out, because they didn't tell me. But yeah, keep your eyes peeled for Watch Dogs Legion whenever that comes out. It's looking to be another high value proposition from Ubisoft.
All right.